before it starts. You can find out more information about PCF at preventcancer.org. All right, I hope you all are hype. I'm sure our runners, because I have just heard that we are ready for Mega Man 64 and Any Percent Race, run by BlueMetal and Aerlien.
All right, so if we are underway here, this is Mega Man 64. My name is Bo Steed, and I am here with BlueMetal and Aerlien.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Awesome runners of Mega Man 64 and Legends. We're calling this Mega Man 64 because that's its name, but it is also known as Mega Man Legends on PS1. It is a little bit, and Rockman Dash in Japan. It's a little bit blurrier and harder to see on 64, but it is faster, so...
That is one reason. That's the only reason some people need to run it sometimes. It's fastest, so here you go.
It's a little rough around the edges.
But here we are, Mega Man 64 in all of its janky glory. So are we ready to go?
Let's get the countdown.
All right, let's go, man. Yeah, you gonna count us down, Bo Steed?
All right, sounds good. Then let us get going in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck, bud.
Good luck. My controls are wrong. Bro.
You want me to stop for a few seconds?
Nah, forget it. Go.
All right.
What happened? Okay. So, a little thing about this game is we're going to be running diagonally through the whole thing, and I had a really hard time doing that because I somehow ended up on default controls.
Yeah, so as you can see, the game is pretty much like just all about running diagonally. Like, for some reason, it's a programming oversight. You run diagonally and you go really fast. And over here, just gonna get rid of these transformer things. They're supposed to like power a energy field that we walked by. That's supposed to be blocking us from the boss. But we also just picked up a buster part, or at least I did. Did you get it yet?
Yeah.
Okay, it sounds like you got it. So there's gonna be a main buster shooting mechanic we're gonna use here. It's called stutter shooting. It's where you pretty much mash forward and camera button to shoot quicker. I'll be using that for a lot of fights throughout the game. Let's see if this boss cooperates. All right, my fight was clean. How about yours?
My fight was good, but he didn't stun early.
Oh. So now that the intro's done, it's pretty much just point A to point B for a little while. We pretty much, like story-wise, we pretty much just crash-landed on an island after doing the intro dungeon. And now we're just trying to figure our way through this while we get everything repaired and fixed so we can finally leave. But throughout doing that, there's a lot that goes down. There's going to be some exploration in some dungeons. There's going to be an invasion from some pirates. It's going to be a whole lot of silliness. Like, for example, we're going to be helping out the townspeople right here at the beginning. Like, we're going to talk to this lady here in the junk shop, and her husband got trapped in a nearby smaller dungeon. We call it Snake Pit. You'll see why in a little bit. And we got to go help him. He got his way in there, but he can't get out, so we got to make our way in there and save him.
It's like Indiana Jones' big fear of snakes, especially apparently robotic, autonomous machine snakes. So this is going to be where Mega Man 64 starts to really show its true colors. One of the biggest changes about playing this version over the PS1 version is the auto aim. Like, the aim assist is so aggressive, sometimes it won't even make sense.
Sometimes some shots will pull in a direction that just seems like it's almost completely 90 degrees. Something that would definitely not happen on PlayStation.
Nice explosion, bro. Yeah, a lot of the times in that room, they'll actually track to an enemy that's through the wall, prioritizing that over one of the snakes that we need to kill, which is always fun. Also, a little thing in there, too. We got 2,600 Zenny. We're going to need a bunch of money for shopping, get a little overpowered later in the run.
Yeah, money is somewhat tight, but not really. But it's, we're only be doing like 2 shopping trips this whole run. So it's not a whole lot of shopping, but we get like most of our money in the early game, and then we pretty much don't have to worry about money for the rest of the run. But speaking of money, hey, don't we have any like donations to read right now? Sounds like a good idea to me.
We've got a whole bunch of donations, like this $100 donation from Bruno Fightmaster. Gotta donate for my favorite block, the Mega Man block. Also, it helps to have a chance to win that amazing Breath of the Wild miniature. Last dono of the marathon, thank you all for such a great show, and let's finish strong.
We'll be seeing Bruno later. He's a good guy.
I thought it was funny that the donator coincidentally had Bruno in their name. You'll see why later. Yeah. Right, you can keep going. We have like a couple more minutes of just walking around if they got, more donations.
All right, well, we sure do. We've got $50 from Christian, who says, Mega Man Legends is one of my favorite series, and it's great to see it on GDQ. Good luck to the runners on the race. We also have $25 from Rad Starsoar. Had to donate during my favorite game of all time, Mega Man Legends. I've been waiting for this race for the entire event.
Oh, before you read another one, hey, Bo Steed, do you want to talk about this?
Coming up here. Yeah, so there's a couple of ways that you can solve this particular situation involving Tron, and that's the fastest one. Is you can, in the English version, the only way you have to finish this is to talk to the dog. They actually removed all instances of animal abuse. But unfortunately for Paprika, it's much faster to just kind of punt him halfway down the block. But he's like a robot dog, so I'm sure he's fine.
Hey, bud, don't forget to buy the canteen.
I'm going to buy the canteen just on the next shopping trip.
All right, now here we got a big old boss rush. We want to talk about that.
Yeah, so these are, I forget their names, but I suddenly forgot their names. They are the Bloom Bears. Okay, so there's 3 Bloom Bears at the very start of this fight. The one on the left, the red one, passes the key that we need to the blue one. So all you need to do is just kill the blue one, and it's fine. And then after that is Feldinat or Ferdinand, depending on certain version differences and whatsoever. And we make him dance because that is more interesting. Then we've got City Hall, which is an RNG nightmare. There are 3 flyers that are flying around the environment. They can pick up and drop more tanks into the environment. So we want to kill them first. Otherwise, we have more enemies to deal with, and also the reporter who's flying around the area will
I hope your City Halls go to Will.
Oh, yeah.
Mine is not. Mine is horrible.
Yeah, the reporter will continue to say, hey, you should probably deal with those flyers because they're dropping more robots. So, flyers first. Oh, also, fun thing is that we need the City Hall, the bank, and the police station to all be fully fixed in order to, complete the game. And sometimes the robot near the bank will just decide that it wants to go ham, like unfortunately it has done here.
So we have a gentleman's agreement regarding this. We need the bank and the police station alive, and it costs 45 seconds to fix either one of them. So since I lost my bank, yeah.
I can't believe it. It actually happened. It's like not
Yeah.
that common, but one of the fun things is another version difference being the fog that's constantly around us. We can't really like see very far. You would be able to spot from a mile away on PS1 that your bank is gone, but
Yeah.
lovely, great.
Second Place likes to call it a pleasant surprise.
It is a pleasant surprise to have your run done.
Yeah, so for the race's sake, you can still fix it mid-run and not worry about your money route too much. It's just, yeah, I guess Aerlien's going to find a spot at some point to chill for about 45 seconds while I fix my bank. So that's a fair race, because otherwise I literally just now lost the race if we didn't do that.
Yeah, it's extremely one-sided if you just let that go by. It wasn't even like Blue's fault.
Yeah, he just got to the bank first right at the start and blew it up, and there it was.
That's why we call it RNG Hall a lot. Oh, and another little quick fun bit of trivia. Bon Bon back there, the big yellow baby, voiced by the same actor as Pikachu.
Oh yeah, we stun-locked Bon Bon just like we did with Feldner.
Yeah,
Get
and
him to come down to a lamp post and just throw mines at him. An aerial boss with landmines, that's pretty awesome.
yeah, it doesn't make much sense, but that's Legends for you. And so this boss we've got here has two chances to kind of mess up your run. He's got a 50-50 chance of either throwing a series of birds, we call them. They're flying bombs. Or a serve bot will come out and throw a bomb. The first time we want the birds, and the second time we want the bombs.
Second time is much
unfortunately,
more consequential.
I got worse patterns.
You got
so
worse
I
patterns.
just-
I got worse patterns. I'm actually ahead right now after the shenanigans in the beginning. So I think I'm going to take my 45-second timeout now.
Cool. I appreciate your mercy at this very moment.
So yeah, essentially, that boss back there is a coin flip. So if your run didn't die at City Hall, it's going to die there. And if it doesn't die there, then you're pretty much set for, like, several splits in the run. As long as you're playing okay, there's no RNG to get you held back and maybe you have to reset your run.
Yep. So the way I gotta fix the bank, for the sake of a no reset run, so I gotta donate some money to the mayor there, and then I gotta go in and out behind City Hall. There's a door that leads to the area that I was just at, and fixing buildings in this game isn't based on time, it's based on screen transitions. Or not so much screen transitions, but area transitions. So if I go in and out of this door about 6 times, then I'll get a cutscene saying that the police car, that the building was fixed. And then I can continue my run.
The cars in this game are kind of out for blood. Oh, speaking of, I forgot to mention, early on, I was told that very important that I mention this. Early on, when Roll is running down the hallway, she's actually has the same sort of behavior as a vehicle. So I was told to say that Roll is indeed a vehicle.
Yeah. So the way we know that is vehicles in this game, if you're walking in the same direction that they're moving, they don't hurt you. It's like you could walk backwards facing the car that's heading towards you and it doesn't hurt you, right? Well, we tested that on Roll when she's running down through Apple Market, and she has the same behavior. She does not hurt you if
Going
you're
out of bounds, by the
in
way.
the same direction. Oh, did you just go out of bounds on that?
Yeah, let me just throw in that we're going out of bounds. We're using momentum from kicking an enemy to clip through the only wall that has those properties in the game.
And we've looked. This is like the only one that you can flip out of.
Picked up a big wad of cash, 9,240 zenny in that hole. It's absolutely worth grabbing on this difficulty.
Yeah, how much is in that hole again? It's like 9,000?
Yeah, 9,240. It is so much cash, but it's not enough cash. I'm going to have to destroy 2 nests in here, but not before I do a little trick here called kick storage. First try. Okay, so what I did there was first look to the left so my frame rate is locked at 30. Pretty important so you don't mess up. And let me just grab this money. So it's really important that we do that because it's going to be used for a boss skip later on. Restoring the momentum from the backwards movement that I used to clip out of bounds, we're gonna go through a boss trigger in one frame, so it won't ever detect that we're touching the trigger.
Bro, I think I psyched myself out. Get the kick stored. There it is. Jeez. Oh yeah, since I had to repair the bank, I had to get all 3 nests.
Lovely.
It's a little tricky to get kick storage on N64 because of the frame rate.
Yeah, that's why I opted to make sure I was looking in a direction that had lock 30.
Yeah, the reason for that is because on PlayStation, when we go to blow up one of those nests, we kick it first to get storage off of it. But after some testing on 64 and some unfortunately failed runs, you can just do the trick correctly and you don't have the kick stored at all. But it turns out if you just do it in a room where the frame rate is lock 30, you'll actually get it all the time like you should.
This dungeon's
64 things.
Yeah, 64 things. This dungeon is the start of the trend that we're going to be seeing for the next couple of dungeons, where we need to grab 3 keys, take it to the middle of the map or the starting area, and we put them in and either get a refractor or some other key item for progression opens up. Back there, I opened that chest to get the jump springs, which is necessary to complete the game. It'll be used in the next dungeon, and it will be a preferred method of movement through that dungeon. I just did a puzzle. It was quite difficult. I'm 5 head, so it's all good.
Yeah, the puzzle is, can you step on buttons?
Especially trivial at diagonal movement. Okay, just gonna check my money. Yeah, I have plenty.
I just checked mine and I actually do have enough. Like, if bank didn't happen, I would have actually had enough money for nest skip.
Oh, good.
Let me check
just
again.
Rub it in.
Yeah, I only need 19,260. I'm at 19,470. We're good. But yeah, after this dungeon, we're going to be pretty much doing a one more shopping trip to get buster parts and items and stuff, and then we'll be doing a long boat auto-scroller. So I think you can get like a whole buttload of donations in right now if you want to.
A boatload, if you will.
Oh yeah.
A boatload, you say? An airboat load? Anyway, just wanted to check in on that Mighty Gunvolt Burst upgrade to hard mode. We have raised almost $700, but we still have $4,300 to go on that incentive and only a few more runs before we need to get there. So make sure you apply your donations to that incentive if you want to see it met.
Oh my. I'm sorry to interrupt. My game just crashed.
Oh no.
That's exactly... 1 second. Oh my.
Did it
N64
crash on
things.
the fast travel to Uptown? Or to downtown?
Yeah.
Where did it crash?
So I accidentally picked Garden Forest, and then I went to downtown, and then it crashed. Okay, so this is... Wait a minute.
Yeah,
So that's another issue with 64. Sometimes you can get an infinite hang on a load screen. It's rare, but sometimes it happens. Welcome to marathon luck, am I right?
Dude, I don't even know what I'm doing here. I'm just gonna backtrack to the thing, go to the shop. This is so ridiculous. I hate this version.
Me too, buddy.
Dude, that was like the one thing everyone was trying to like root against was the crash. Come on. Well, I need to go to the shop anyway to grab the fuel canteen because I don't have it on this save. Sorry about that. It's out of my control, I swear.
Yeah, this is fairly common for runners of 100%. We actually have to do certain routing tricks to avoid crashes. It's less common on any percent, but N64 gonna do what it do.
This is about as scuffed as I expected for Mega Man 64.
Same. What is this menu? How old is this save?
It's okay, you got it, bud. I have
Okay.
faith in you.
+4, and then there. Okay, so what was supposed to happen was we go to the shop, buy the fuel canteen for safety, and we're going to be getting an energy canteen that'll be used to up our DPS a lot in the late game, and then we're going to be grabbing a whole bunch of buster parts. I'm just doing this for the sake of consistency. Oh gosh.
I guess if there's nothing else to bring up about how silly this version is, you can probably get back to rating donations if you want.
Yeah, sorry about
All
that.
right. We have $25 from Dude Nice. Had to donate for my buds, Aerlien and Blue. My power went out right when the run started, but maybe you all will have better luck.
Shout out, dude. Nice.
Love you, bro.
Especially about the luck thing.
Yeah, marathon luck. It happens to all of us. We have $25 from Johnny Gage. Had to wake up early and make my donation for my favorite Mega Man game. We also have $100 from Edward. Hi, BlueMetal. I was hyped to watch this race for a while, and now it's finally here. We can show off this awesome game to GDQ yet again. I'm behind you 100%. Oh, and hi, Aerlien. I wish both runners luck on the beta version.
It is kind of true that from what I heard from someone who knows a lot about this series and how everything was made, 64 was supposedly based on a beta from things he's seen of an actual beta from the PlayStation version. So just a little thing about how janky this version is.
We have $50 from Space Lancer Jericho. Ah, I see. Rockman Dash is diagonally.
Yes.
We have $25 from Senna Truin. Had to donate during one of my favorite games. Hopefully we see an HD remaster of Mega Man Legends and maybe, finally, the third installment.
Copium.
Get him off the moon, man.
And just checking in on those incentives, we still are just under $700 for the upgrade to hard mode for Mighty Gunvolt First, and we are just shy of $400 for Love 3 custom HEQ bonus level. Again, we only have a few more runs before we need to meet those incentives, so if you want to see that upgrade and that bonus level, make sure you apply your donation to those incentives on that donation page. We have $25 from Stien. Fantastic event. Thanks. We have $250 from Crab Apples. Always super impressed with the runners, couches, announcers, and everyone working behind the scenes every GDQ. Great job, everyone. Another awesome year. We have $25 from Marcus. Great event. I enjoy it every year. Greetings from Germany.
All right, and just for a weird little bit of trivia that I was thinking about just now, because somebody mentioned Dash. Fun fact, Rockman Dash, as it's called in Japan, stands for Dig Outers, Adventure Stories, and Halcyon Days, because that's how abbreviations work.
That's a very Japanese title. So now that the main section of the boat autoscroller is over, we're coming up on a very infamous boss if you're familiar with the speedrunning side of this game. It's basically an auto-scroller boss where we get it to a certain point where we circle around it and then we can finally, hurt it. And if you destroy all of its parts in one revolution, the main weakness finally spawns and you can use that to deal damage to it. But if you don't destroy all 4 parts in enough time, you have to sit through another entire revolution before the core finally spawns. So that costs you like 20 plus seconds.
Yeah, the thing is that the weakness can only spawn when it is directly out of line of sight. So, like completely 180 behind the boss, whose name is Balkan Gerald, by the way, or Bacon Jelly, depending on how you're feeling at the time. But yeah, since it can only spawn when it's directly behind him, if you miss that window of opportunity, then you have to wait all the way for it to come back around again.
And what makes it even worse is that we're dealing with 64 versions insanely aggressive auto aim, so it's significantly harder than it is on PlayStation. Like, I almost never ever miss it on PlayStation, but here on 64 it's always very sketchy.
Yeah, BlueMetal is a robot.
Some people call me that.
It's gonna be really messed up looking. Like, there are gonna be some volleys of 4 where it's like, wow, this dude is an amateur. I can't believe he's missing all these shots. The way we have this set up is we do this buffer method. I threw some mines and did a 3-shot volley. This is so that I can hold B and the fight will play out the same every time instead of starting my first shot on a different frame and having to adjust. So we're at the total mercy of the auto aim. We just have to aim in the right spots, but sometimes it's still not gonna hit.
I missed mine, dude. That's a little bit of a help for you. I missed mine.
Oh my goodness.
Oh no.
I told you it's always sketch. I'm trying to land these shots on it, man. It's just like, nope, we're gonna pull over here. We're gonna go over there. I'm gonna prioritize the arm on the other side of the body. It's so hard to control shots on this version, man.
They got it a little bit better on Legends 2, but they were still figuring out how 3D worked this time around.
Yeah, on Legends 2, the shots just go straight, and they only track when you lock onto something.
All right, I got it. I was worried about like the etiquette of technically loading a save that was further down, but if I lost the lead that much, then it's no problem, I guess.
Yeah, I'm cool with it.
I'm officially DQ, but we are going to maintain the spirit of this.
Everything about this is kind of like just the spirit of adventure at this point.
We just like DQ this version.
DQ Mega Man 64.
Like, just to make it clear, we love Mega Man Legends. It's such a fantastic series. It's just Mega Man 64 specifically is a very big meme, so we're very happy to show how much of a meme it is to everybody.
Yeah, and 64 is faster, and certain members of our community like it better. We respectfully disagree, but you know, hey, there's a certain amount to be said for nostalgia, and it's a fine version. It's just jank for speedrunning, and has a few little issues, even casually.
It doesn't even want to be played itself, so it crashes. Okay, so this dungeon is more or less the same as the last dungeon. We're collecting 3 keys. We're going to get a refractor. We used the last refractor to power up the boat. We're going to use this refractor to power up the flutter, and we're going to be attempting the boss skip that I mentioned earlier.
A failure of that is huge. So if either one of us fails it, that's going to be
It's costly.
Yeah, this is our first time getting to actually show this off in a GDQ run. So, just in case anybody missed it, they stored momentum from a kick in a previous dungeon, meaning canceling. They kicked a wall and canceled the animation so that they didn't get pushed back. And now the next time they kick at empty air, it will push them back that amount that it should have previously. And we found out after a while that the spawning area for this boss is pretty much the square directly in front of the door, like not the one that the door is sitting on, but the square just in front of it. So the thing is that if you can get past that spawn trigger without triggering it, then the boss just never activates. So we've got a couple of setups for this.
Okay, that looks good.
And there we go. And now
I had to retry my setup because it was very precise and I might have barely messed it up, but we got it now.
That would have been Gyaradoratin or Dorito King, as we call him, but we'll just leave the Doritos unopened.
Or will we? Yes, we will.
All right, good.
Nice.
Yeah, so that trick, like the whole idea is to be behind the spawn trigger on one frame, and then your backwards kick momentum being fast enough to take you past the trigger on the next frame. So you get in a very specific position, very, very specific, so you can make that happen. You have to the setup that we used anyway, or at least that I used, you use the jump in front of the door to set up right in front of the trigger, and then upon landing, you want to walk backwards for exactly 2 frames, whether it be 2 1-frame steps or 1 2-frame step. Then you want to turn your camera to a very specific angle and then kick, and you should go right past it.
Also, this elevator is more of a suggestion than an actual elevator.
Yeah, we can just have it go up without us.
It's fine.
And I guess one other thing to note about that boss skip is that if you're doing it with the jet skates, you can do it blindfolded because it's that easy. It's when you don't have the skates is when it's a total mess.
Which, speaking of, the first piece of the skates was just after we had gone through the out of bounds. We picked up one piece of it, and then we picked up the other piece in the lake. So now we've got our turbo Heelys and are going to be skating around a whole lot at the speed of sound, one might say. Although first we've got a little bit of business to do in the flutter. We're going to pick up the
Grand grenade.
Yeah, I was trying to think of the schematics for the grand grenade.
Oh yeah. It's like bomb schematics.
That's what it's called in game, and that is the only other special weapon we're going to be using. There used to be routes that used the active buster. And hard mode uses the grenade arm, but for this route, we finally figured out it's just faster to use the grand grenade in all situations.
It's a very, very strong weapon, and we need one of 3 weapons to even proceed through the next dungeon anyway, and this one is just right here, so why not? And then with the upgrade costs and the convenience and everything later, it's just, this is going to be pretty much our main weapon through the rest of the run.
It does a ridiculous amount of damage just naturally. It's a little bit awkward to use. And this is kind of one of the departures of Mega Man Legends, is that it doesn't have the standard sort of, now I've got your power, fighting a robot master and then getting a arm that shoots bubbles. It's got explosives and cannons and machine guns, and you just find them in the ruins and then slap them on.
Yeah, the whole thing about this game is exploring and trying to craft some new weapons and doing side quests and stuff. So it's very much not like a Mega Man game, but it still is a Mega Man game. It's a fun one at that. Well, let's see if I can get some door swag here. I only got one shot at this. Let's see if I get it. This door is very glitchy.
Well,
I did something.
It's fun to just kind of see what sort of nonsense you can do while going through that transition.
Yeah.
Not that I
so
can
in this dungeon,
figure out how to do it.
It's just another instance of grabbing 3 keys, fighting a boss, and leaving. So until we get to the boss, I think we have time for maybe a handful of donations, I think.
All right, awesome. We have 2 $5 donations from Carla Rake. Hey, from Australia. My husband has been waiting all night to watch Mega Man. Ah, nostalgia. Cheers from down under. We also have $50 donations from Bullrug, Rawintelli, Phoenix, and Sven. Thank you all very much. We have a $100 donation from Royal Tarts, who says greater than 3. And we have a $5 anonymous donation who says, let's go. And let's go indeed, because we have raised over $1,250 towards that Mighty Gunvolt Burst upgrade to hard mode. we are definitely making a lot of progress, but we still have about $3,700 to go and not a lot of time to get there. So make sure you apply your donations to that incentive to upgrade to hard mode, as well as our Love 3 custom HDQ bonus level.
Nice.
All right, so we're coming up on the next boss here, and we needed one of 3 weapons to destroy a fake ceiling panel in this room. That lets us actually access the next boss room. And the boss has a very interesting exploit. They do nothing if they're not on the screen. And then I recently found an even better way to do it. If they're in between you and a wall at a specific distance, they don't know what to do and they just sit there running into the wall until you finish them. This is very silly. So let's skate this way. Just gonna stand roughly right here. They're gonna gather up in front of me. A couple of nades here, one more, and the boss is dead. Just like that. Now, because of how laggy 64 is, they were still on the screen. They didn't disappear or anything yet. Well, the game only checks if the health bars are empty. They don't really care if like the boss blew up or anything, so just blow them up, go round through.
Yeah, those guys can be a little bit tricky on casual playthroughs, but turns out if you just don't look at them, they don't exist.
Pretty much. So now that we have all 3 keys, we're just gonna go to the room that concludes this dungeon, where it's pretty much like a control panel that opens up the final dungeon that also has 3 keys. Oh yeah, there he was. The final dungeon, the 3 keys in that one, they're external. Like you open up sub-cities as they're called, and you get the keys from there and then go back in the final dungeon to the final boss. But before we even get there, after we open main gate and leave, and we try to fly back to where we were, the pirates show up again. We gotta take care of them in the air. And that's another boss gauntlet. And you fight their big green ship that they live in. And if you mess up that particular fight, you can lose like upwards of a minute or more depending on your luck. So that's a fight that's gonna be like really tight.
Yeah, it turns out the pirates' big plan was, hey, let's just wait until Blue Guy opens the gate to the big treasure, and then we'll just ambush him. And as that generally tends to go in these sorts of stories, it doesn't go well for them. The big green ship, casually is, or in any percent, is actually an extremely difficult fight. It's every shot is counted and extremely precise. The name of the ship is the Gesellschaft, by the way. The Bonds tend to like naming things after German concepts.
First part of the fight will be fighting the mini ships. We're gonna throw 1 nade and stutter shoot the rest down. I'm gonna have 2 nades for Gesellschaft itself for the ending of the fight, and then we're gonna save 1 extra nade in case we get a certain pattern on the fight right after that.
Yeah, so here's where the fight gets a little bit tricky, just because of the fairly precise nature of getting both of the wings taken care of. The thing is, the Gesellschaft itself has 3 main areas to destroy: the wings, the underside, and both of the wings. So if you don't get all 3 of those destroyed fairly quickly, then you have to wait through an extra cycle, which luckily Blue has managed to take care of that pretty handily.
Yeah, you pretty much have to wait for the ship you're on to fly around to the other weak spots, and sometimes you get unlucky and it's like, no, I'm just gonna fly around to this side that you already blew up.
And this is the Bond's plan B, where Tron is now piloting the Fokker Wolf, kind of their escape pod, and now it's exploding, so they are most likely dead.
It can do a lot of things in the fight. Like, it can circle around you forever. That one's extremely rare. I'm getting the overhead attack now. Use the nade. Yeah, typically you just lead ahead of your target, and then she has the attack. Did she give you the attack where she
I had to
goes
throw
right
a
overhead?
nade.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's one other one where she rains bullets on you, and there's like a janky little invincible spot on the thumb where your shots will just track it. No matter what you do, you cannot hit the actual boss.
I'm getting this cat, by the way.
What? Okay, yeah, that cat. There was a moment of contention whether 100% should collect that cat. You can pick it up and take it into your ship and have it as a pet.
It's a cat. It's a real cool cat.
Don't forget that it's gonna pop out in the flood.
Yeah.
It's fine.
So next up, we got another boss. Its name is Bruno. I think we heard about Bruno earlier. And on 64, Bruno is significantly harder because of one dumb reason. On
The
PlayStation, he starts moving very late, but on 64, he starts moving right away. And his arms and his hands just love to block shots and everything. So when he starts moving much sooner, he gets to his next stop much sooner and starts turning to block your shots sooner. So everything about this version, about this boss in this version, is just significantly harder.
Also,
Yeah.
because the auto aim is so aggressive that it wants to shoot at his little, I call them banana or bunny slippers.
Yeah, bunny slippers and his shoulders, that's the best right there. Like, you hardly get any benefit from taking those out. See, this fight, we're doing a damage boost right at the start to have iframes so that we can make sure that we can get to the spot we need to on time. And that's only done on the 64 version.
All right, I got him.
Got him in one cycle. Nice.
Yo, look, his body's floating.
Fun fact for the nobody who cares, you can let him destroy most of the buildings in this area, which is called Old City, and nobody cares. They don't make you repair those.
It's a really good Bruno.
You can repair
Nice.
all the buildings in the downtown by talking to the mayor, but they don't care about Old City.
Yeah, they don't bother to fix that place up. It's really silly.
So our next step here is that being the cool and helpful heroes that we are, we go to the Flutter and find that on the news that the police are involved in a high-speed chase around downtown with some of the serve bots, the little yellow robot guys, who have robbed a bank. The only problem is that they, in fact, did not rob a bank. They got a completely legitimate 100% over, on-board loan from the bank, and were seen walking out of the bank with a briefcase of money, and the police assumed that they were stealing it. But
Yo, car surfing.
yeah, car surfing. Since we kind of want that money, we're just going to yoink by.
Gives us an entire extra digit of money. If we give it back to them, we get like 20,000 zenny, but if we steal it, we get 200,000 zenny.
Also, if
And that's why
give
we
it
don't have to worry
back,
about money.
the serve bots open a little burger place downtown. But if you don't give it back, then they don't. Poor guys.
This boss is an auto-scroller. He's pretty annoying. It's a coin flip, whether or not he goes left or right. You want him to go right on this difficulty. And it can cost like a little bit of time, but not much. This fight is actually normal on 64. It is one of the crazy anomalies that this version has going for it. Typically, on the first shot you do, his rear end would close up immediately. One shot and then it's over. And then you have to wait for him to open up again to expose his weak point, as it were. And it wastes an extra cycle. So we actually save a cycle on 64.
Yeah,
Also,
on PlayStation, we have to do some shenanigans with like 4-hit cycles and like counting your shots, making sure your cycles all line up. But on 64, you just 3-shot the whole time. We don't have to care.
Also, you might notice that Mega Man is looking a little extra dank right now. His armor actually changes color based on a hidden morality system that a lot of people didn't even realize was in the game. certain actions like kicking vending machines until they break or stealing money, etc., actually turns you into a slightly evil Mega Man, which doesn't really do a whole lot for you on this game. In Legends 2, the shops will like charge you extra for stuff and slightly detrimental, but
This game, nothing. They
Not
don't care. Like, they care in dialogue, but they actually don't care.
yeah, and if you walk around and listen to some of the houses, people will be talking about, oh, that bad boy that's going around town doing bad things. What a menace.
And here's our first sample of how strong the grand grenades get once you upgrade them. Because all that money we just got, we dumped it into the grand grenades. Now, like, everything dies in like 1 or 2 nades, and it's fantastic.
It's incredible. Like, if we did not have that upgrade, this fight and the next subsidies, the final boss, it would take forever.
Yeah, the part
I also
of the
just
fun,
had to use my canteen.
Okay, well,
yeah,
you had to
that
be
was
smart.
That was getting me
That's
a
why
little
we bought
concerned.
it.
Okay, I did not get the axe to the face.
But part of the fun is that one of the things about the Grand Grenade is that it's doing damage for pretty much every frame that it is active. So it does a heck of a lot of damage. Also, I'll quickly go into the way health works in this game. You'll notice that Blue's health bar is currently red. There's actually a quote-unquote shield that the around the health bar most of the time. And while that shield is active, you take less damage, and he's repaired it now. But anytime that you have the shield up, you can take damage pretty much to the final hit point, at which point your shield will guarantee break. Also, it breaks if you take certain large hits. But if you're in red bar and take an extra hit of damage, then you are at a game over and have to
Game
start
over is
over.
bad news.
Yeah, it's generally not what you're aiming for. That can also include if you don't have a helmet and get hit into red bar and land on your head, then that's an extra point of damage and you die.
Yeah, this game doesn't have a life system, so if you die, you're back at your title screen.
And a lot of people probably noticed at the, way back when that this Mega Man isn't wearing a helmet. Gasp in surprise. There is a helmet. It's in the plains where we were fighting a bunch of tanks. We don't get it because it's for nerds and also slow.
Agreed.
But it
Yeah, I agree on both counts.
it does actually protect you from landing on your head and taking damage.
So we're going back down here in the final dungeon to go fight the final boss. And on the way there, we're going to be doing an invincibility glitch that was discovered recently. It's actually slower on this difficulty by a handful of seconds, but for marathon safety and just for swag, we're still going to do it anyway. It's like
I'm going
not
for
that
nip in
much
the bud.
slower. Did you get it?
That was close, but no.
Okay.
Yeah,
Ow.
this last boss is called Mega Man Juno. As far as story is concerned, we get into this final dungeon where there's supposed to be a great treasure. Turns out that all that's here is a big jerk named Juno. He loves nothing more than to ruin your day and your runs. So he decides that he wants to, that the carbons, quote unquote, are kind of going a little bit berserk and overpopulating, and that's bad news. So he's going to reinitialize them. In other words, this is kind of big spoilers and surprise. It turns out that the people of the islands are kind of simulated people, basically advanced robots that
Oh, did you get stuck behind the wall?
humanity died a long time ago. This
Here.
fun fact: this game is supposed to take place like thousands and thousands and thousands of years after Mega Man Zero, where all of humanity is gone.
Yes.
My Furu's being very annoying.
I got there. Okay, so I am completely invincible for Juno.
Oh my god, that step took too long. I'm behind you, but I got it.
Oh man, I can't believe it. The nail biter right at the end. Hey, no. Not 1 HP. He did the middle attack, dude. That's one of the best parts about this trick is getting him to not ever do that attack, but unfortunately.
Oh, my Juno one was good.
I got aim storage. Okay, yeah, we're completely invincible for Juno 2 as well. For the rest of the game, we're not going to take any damage, no knockback, no nothing. It has to do with canceling our animation in midair with that enemy while our state was getting reset by finishing up the talk with Data.
Oh, and here Juno does a extremely, Mega Man boss
Where
thing
you at,
where
bud?
his head goes into
I'm pressing start. The bird's about to go.
Oh my god.
All right, time is coming up right now.
Yeah.
And
time when you would talk to Roll.
time for me.
Meanwhile, I'm wasting like 2 seconds talking to roll time. I mean,
There we
you
have
were
it.
already ahead of me. It didn't matter. Wow, that was close. Jeez.
I didn't actually win, but that was so much fun. I can't believe it crashed, dude.
It's Mega Man 64, dude. It's gonna be so scuffed no matter how much we try.
I think it was perfect.
Yeah, with how silly and janky this version is, this marathon run is a perfect example of why you should speedrun the PS1 version.
4 seconds.
Yeah, it
my
turned
goodness.
out pretty close and exciting.
It makes sense that it was
GG.
close. Like, me and Aerlien have traded records on this series for like 7 years now. So like we've tied a bunch of times too, so it all makes sense. So you know what? GG's, bud. That was a lot of
GG,
fun.
man. I couldn't have gone any better.
Yeah, for sure. But I don't really have very many shout outs to give other than just, the people in the Legend speedrun community. They're all a bunch of fantastic people. We don't have a fancy link to our server, but you can easily find it on like speedrun.com or something. And we got resources. We got a lot of people who are willing to, help you out if you weren't willing to learn any game in this series. It's we're around to help you out.
Shout outs to second place. Too bad you couldn't be here.
Yeah, maybe slept too long.
And thank you so much, GDQ, for having us here again.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Thank you very much.
Big pleasure. Thanks, guys.
GG's to both of our runners, especially on keeping that to a 4-second race, despite the crashes and the bad luck. That was amazing. You love to see those close races. We have $25 from Sunrise. I adore Mega Man Legends. Never played 64 though. Very interesting to see this very interesting run. And with that, we now have an interview with our very next runner for Mega Man Rock and Roll, Ahmad, who will be interviewed by Adef. Take it away.
Hello, everybody at AGDQ 2023 Online. My name is Adef, and I'm really excited about this interview we've got right now. I am joined by Ahmad, who is a fellow classic Mega Man speedrunner. Ahmad, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
I'm really good. I'm so excited for the classic Mega Man representation we've got in the marathon, and let's just jump right into it. So, is that, you have a breadth of Mega Man speedrunning experience. You've been at the top of several really competitive classic Mega Man speedruns. So I'm curious if this is the first fan game, because you're going to be playing Mega Man Rock and Roll, and this is a fan-made Mega Man project. Is this the first fan game that you've sort of been, competitive in?
Yes, you would be absolutely correct about that. Kind of ironic in a way. I don't usually run Mega Man ROM hacks or fan games, but this just blew my mind when I was watching a couple of my friends running it. Quite a lot, actually. A few months of a grind, and I was just blown away, and I had to learn it myself. And safe to say, it's been quite the blast. Great game.
Fantastic. Yeah, I mean, it is so fast and dynamic. I promise everybody, you're not going to want to miss this run. So you've done a few Mega Man runs additionally at GDQs and ESA events in the past. But what should people expect in this game versus, those other Mega Man runs? What's the big difference between this fan project and some of those other games?
So Obviously, a new character would be a whole new thing in this game because it's rock and roll. So we're playing with both Mega Man and roll. But I suppose the closest Mega Man I could compare it to would be 11 because of the weapon wheel. So you can just quickly switch between your weaponry and basically spam all of them if you want to. But yeah, the main difference is roll. We're going to use her basically throughout the entire run as much as we can because she has a double jump, which makes platforming so much easier compared to just sliding. Of course, she has that as well. Just like in some other games where you can play with Proto Man, she is slightly weaker, so she actually takes more damage than Mega Man does. So it adds up to the difficulty of the game a bit. And she also has a beat, the bird. So when Mega Man uses Rush for utility, or as a utility item, then beat is the utility item for roll, which makes just flying around levels or skipping some platforms just so much easier than using Mega
Yeah.
Man. So those are probably the most common like differences between these games, and noticeable like just the difficulty as well. It's really hard, but at the same time, it's intentionally made this hard. As far as I know, the developer said that it's taken this inspiration from the difficulties of Mega Man 1 and 4. And if you remember Mega Man 4, everything hits like a truck. So basically, that's all I need to say about that.
Well, I'm a big Mega Man 1 and 4 fan, so I'm sold. So every Mega Man game, at least within the speedrunning community, we have like the song of the game. Whether for meme reasons or because it's actually the best song, like in Mega Man 5, there's Star Song. I listened to some of the tracks from this game and they're kind of killer. So I'm curious, what is like the song of Mega Man Rock and Roll?
I'm so glad.
Because I mean, it has a very musical title as well.
Yeah, true. I'm so glad you asked because the composer is actually Finnish as well, just like myself. So soundtrack has been made by a Finn. But interestingly enough, the refight song, which is completely different, it's not the normal boss song that plays. That is definitely my favorite, followed by the Purple Heaven, as Mega Man 2 community always says,
Yes.
is also Wally 4 in this game, but must be a reference for Mega Man 2. But refights and Wally 4 themes are really, really good.
Amazing. I can't wait to hear them. And my final question is, if there is one trick or maybe one stage people should really be looking out for in the run that you think is just a great visual representation of how exciting this run can be.
So this is basically pure execution. There are no zips or any kind of a super tricky move that you need to pay attention to. However, since the execution is the main word here, I would say Wily 1 boss, which is the med grabber, it's not only a really like nightmarish boss casually, but the quick kill we're going to do in the speed run is quite something if I get it right. It looks cool. It's really difficult to pull off, but at the same time, it will probably make a lot of jaws drop in the audience because it's actually the execution is just so good. Also, the entire stage of Wally 4, and let me tell you, that stage is Kaizo level difficult.
Oh,
It is really, really hard.
Wow.
Maybe not so much in casual, but since in speedrun we go so fast that, yeah, have to avoid all the spikes and hazards, and it's not easy.
Fantastic. Well, everybody, look forward to Mega Man Rock and Roll. It is coming up right after this, so don't miss it. If you love classic Mega Man speedruns or any side-scrolling action, this is definitely the run for you. Ahmad, thank you so much for joining me, and everybody, look forward to more AGDQ 2023 online.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome back to AGDQ 2023, where we are still in the middle of our Mega Man block. Coming up next, we have Mega Man Rock and Roll run by Ahmad. But we still have a couple of incentives coming up a couple of runs later. We have raised over $1,400 towards that hard mode upgrade for Mighty Gunvolt Burst, but we only have 2 more runs before that one comes up. And that is still a long way to go, $3,600 or so. So make sure you apply your donations towards that incentive if you would like to see that hard mode upgrade. We also have about $2,500 for our Love 3 custom AGDQ bonus level. Now, if you look at the schedule, it may look like we have quite a few runs between now and Love 3, but some of those runs are quite a bit short, with maybe 18-20-minute estimates, so you don't have a lot of time for that one either. So make sure you show some love for Love 3 and put your donation towards that custom bonus level or towards Mighty Gunvolt Burst upgrade to hard mode. You can apply your donation to both of those if you would like. We do have a field for custom amounts to apply to on that donation page. And now, as someone who is a bit of a musical daredevil myself, I am very pleased to hype up this next run of Rock and Roll, Mega Man Rock and Roll, that is, any percent run by Ahmad. Take it away.